Hello everyone, I am so happy to be here today. And today the video will be in voiceover, meaning after this intro, I will disappear from talking live to you just because I rather, for today at least, go in voiceover because I suspect there'll be a little bit of noise around me today. Everybody's home. So instead of me having to pause and not remembering where I was, after this intro, I will go in voiceover. So today I want to show you how to layer. I find that a lot of people tell me they have trouble with layering because what they do doesn't seem to work, or it's not as pretty as what they see, in YouTube videos done by others. And so I want to demystify. Now, of course, it's not a solid rule. You don't have to obey by what I'm going to say. It's just little tricks that I know work every time. So I've done a video similar to this one before where I think it said all about layers or something, but I think it's a subject that needs revisiting as I'm seeing the comments I receive in my DM saying, Chantal, do you think you could show me a few pictures of how you layer things? I watched your video, I still don't understand. So, I'm gonna try and do it here today with you. So I'm probably going to use this journal or another, I'm not sure, but I have put out a whole bunch of stuff here. You don't see everything, but there it is to play with, and I have whatever is in my drawers on my desk. We're gonna play. I'm gonna show you how to layer. I'm gonna try and do maybe 3 elements for pages to show you how to layer. So without any further ado, let's get right into it. So I am showing you right now the ruler, and I should have just drawn lines, but here's what I'm trying to do. There's a rule that you can follow which will guarantee your focal point to always be the main attraction, and that is the 1/3 rule. Let's pretend you are drawing 2 vertical line at 1/3 of the page and 2 horizontal line at 1/3 of the page. The points where the lines cross are where you could put your focal point, or within one of those squares. Now, of course, the middle is always a spot where you put focal points if that's what you want. But for visual interest, a lot of times you can choose one of the other points other than the middle square, or, on the intersecting line. So that's what I was kind of trying to show you with the ruler. Now, before you start working on your piece, of course, you have to determine what will be your base layer. So your base layer is the largest piece of paper, whether it's a paper you can hold later on in your hand and put somewhere else, like, a page you will glue somewhere. Or in my case today, my base layer is the page of that journal, the one that is a darker cream color. Then you can start, like I had an idea of my focal point. You see the flower in the frame there. I think I don't use it in the end, but my idea and the reason I started the page was to have that focal point or something in a frame. So whether it's that flower that's on my desk or another thing in a frame, I know that my focal point, I want it to be in a frame. So you choose then your different layers of ephemera. So in my case, that sheet of paper with the holes, which is magnificent paper that I took at, actually all the things on my desk pretty much are from Journal Say, and I will put the discount link in my description box for you. But that paper particularly, I really find it very amazing. I love the texture, the thickness, the color, the feel. I love that it has very light lines in it and holes on the side. Absolutely love it. Well, the lines would be like for the each day, because it's like an agenda page. So anyways, so you choose to layer your ephemera, and of course it would have to be from the largest to the smallest. But now see what I've done with the largest piece. It's tilted, because not everything has to be straight in the middle, from top to bottom, left to right, all centered and neat. Especially when you're creating art, you want to create a visual interest, something that will draw the eyes too. And this paper is beautiful on its own, but once it's tilted and applied to my base layer, the interest is instant. It's so beautiful, and you'll see I'm putting glue right now, and you will see in a minute just exactly what I'm saying here about how interesting it becomes as soon as it's glued tilted. Now see, right away it's beautiful. You know, it has holes, the color is different from the base layer, and that's what you want. So the next step is also, before you start gluing anything, obviously, choose your papers. So I'm going monochromatic. That's a favorite of mine. I tend to go towards that. You see on the top left corner there, that paper, that's my paper from my collection on Etsy. I could have chosen a piece of that right now on top of that paper I just laid, tilted. It would have looked fabulous because it's a pop of color. It still has the cream colors in it, but it has blue. I just decided to go a different route for this video, but it would have been very interesting. So in my case today, I'm going monochromatic. And what you want to see and what you want to do is alternate. So if you have, like this right now is a book page, so it has writing on it, but the one underneath doesn't have any writing, and it's a creamy color, a little darker than the book page, and the one underneath that, so my base page is darker. So it's darker, then it's lighter. I could have gone darker on top of that, but instead I chose a book page because it has writing. So it alternates between interest and, well, in this case it's not truly texture, but it's visual texture, if I can say it like that. Sometimes it's texture that you can feel. So if it's like a handmade paper, let's say, or embossed paper or fabric, but in this case it's let's call it visual texture, right? Because it has writing on it. So right now, as you can see, and as I mentioned, I'm trying to do something in a frame, but it's not going to be the flower that I had picked up in my hands earlier. It's going to be something else. So right now I'm using this darker shade of cream, like coffee color, if you will, like a café au lait colored paper, so darker beige, if you will, because again, it's about alternating the colors if you're doing monochromatic. Now, if you're not doing monochromatic, and had I chosen, or if you choose paper like I was going to, the one with the blue and the flower on the upper left corner, that would also have worked extremely well because you're alternating different types of papers, but always keeping it coherent. So when you work in the same family of color, when you go monochromatic, that is very pleasing to the eye. If you don't go monochromatic, then you have to be careful with the designs of your paper. So if you have writing, splashes of colors on another piece of paper, you just have to be careful that one doesn't take the interest off of the other. Now also, if you are adding, let's say, inking on the edges, or if you want to add some sewing on certain spot of your paper or everywhere all around, of course, do it before you glue everything or it'll be too late. But it's also another way to attract the eye by inking all the edges. Here I chose not to, but a lot of times I will ink the edges of all my papers, and then your eye is drawn, from the outside to the inner even more to the complete middle, of your focal point. So today I'm choosing those dried flowers. I dried them myself. I love hydrangea. I think they're one of the most beautiful flowers once dried, because they're so delicate and they're not too big. So they're easy to place a tiny bit everywhere in your art. So it's nice because, as you can see, and again, it comes back to one of the points I've mentioned where I'm alternating between the colors. So you had the base layer, which is darker cream. Then you had the lighter cream paper with the holes. Then a tiny bit of, a book page just for a different interest with writing. And then this frame has the darker shade of brown inside. And now the hydrangea is also echoing the shade of the cream paper, the one that has the holes. So it's alternating. And see how things are not necessarily straight. And like the first paper is tilted. The second with the book page is also tilted, but a tiny bit less and just towards the other side. And now look, I didn't put the flowers right in the middle. I didn't want to do that because I want to see the darker cream color of the paper I put inside the frame and for interest. So even the flower inside her own frame is respecting the rule of 1/3. That's actually a good rule to remember, by the way, when you take pictures of people. You know how you take a picture of your family or your cat or your dog or your child and it doesn't seem as interesting. Try and gather elements to one side of your picture, or like I said, in the cross lines of 1/3. And that's a rule you can apply a little bit everywhere. So if you have a person, let's say, in front of a tree, you could put that person in that tree and leave 1/3 of the page on the left, let's say, or on the right, empty, and have the background there that shows whether it's, the beach or the forest or whatever it is behind the city. And then have your main focus, the person that is standing next to a tree, to, let's say, the left third or 2/3 of your picture. The same apply to this, what we're doing today, or painting or drawing, and you'll see the interest in your pictures will totally change. And we tend to put people in the middle of the picture when we take a picture on our camera, but believe me, put everything a little bit on the other side, one, left or right, and you'll see the big difference, just like we're doing today with creating our journal page right here. Now, the next step after you've put your image down, your focal point, is you're going to want to create some kind of a page break, if I can call it like that. So right now the page is lovely, but wait till we add something. So you know how many times I will add a sentiment? Think of what a sentiment looks like, or a sentence, What does it look like? It's a vertical line. And it has writing, obviously. It doesn't have to be writing. It could be a piece of tape, washi tape. And you'll see right now that's exactly what we're going to do. It's a break. And you have your whole beautiful image right here. And it's beautiful. And it's lovely just the way it is. But wait till I add those pieces of washi tape. It will create a visual break that will actually accentuate the value of your focal point. You will see, you have to try it to realize how it just enhances everything. For some reason, even if you thought, how can it bring more focus on your focal point? Since it's way up there, it's darker. Technically, it should even take away from your focal point, but it actually doesn't. It does something in your eye that is even more drawn now to the focal point. And same thing with splashes. You know how we like to add paint splashes, whether they're black or white? That's another way of breaking the, how can I say, the perfectly laid out page that we just created. It's almost like bringing a tiny bit of chaos, if I can express it this way. A tiny bit of chaos with those splashes of color. I don't do it in this video, but a lot of times in my pages, whether it's art journaling or in a page, in a journal just like that, junk journal or whatever, I will add some splashes. Or in this case, I also do that a lot, add some washi tape that can break the flow. And today I'm adding them horizontally. Sometimes it will be vertically, but maybe because of the tilted page that I put at the beginning, I didn't feel like vertically would work. And this is washi tape. So if you're unsure, if you have good quality washi tape, not only should it be sticky enough to stay, but it should also be pretty easy to take off, which is it seems like I'm saying the contrary here, but no, it should be really nice and sticky, but at the same time easily to pull out without ripping anything. So this washi tape right now actually is a revelation to me. I've never seen anything like it. I love the feel, the quality. I can pull it out, put it back on, and when I do put it on, it actually stays. I had a few washi tapes where I needed to add glue. Not this one. I mean, you could if you want to, but so far this one just stays there. But I can still pull it out. Now, I haven't tried to pull it out like 2 weeks later, just because I haven't had it for that long. But so far I can pull it out and it doesn't damage anything. But when I put it on the page, it stays. So that's also from Journal Say, just so you know. I love to share products. When I find something amazing, I have to tell you. So right now I'm adding a sentiment, pardon me, on top of the washi tape. And I think it's perfect because I did have a journal page, a book page with writing. So it adds another echo to the writing. And now look at this. Look at this. See how all the monochromatic comes together, and those horizontal lines actually make a nice break, but they don't take away from the focal point. They're actually drawing you in. So these, I should say, are the rules of how to create pages that will always be successful. Another last little thing is the embellishment. So on this page, the embellishment, if you will, were the washi tapes and the sentiment. On this page I'm going to make, and I will leave you soon on this and let you enjoy the last page, the embellishments can be metal, it could be pearls, any kind of gems really. It could be pieces of fabric. It could be, my goodness, it could be strings. So instead of sewing, you could gather a tiny bit of string in a corner or something. Think of everything that you would like to maybe touch or feel or see shiny. It could be some sparkling little, pieces of gold here and there. So but that's at the complete end where you put the last little touches of embellishment. But they go in the same category, for me anyways, as the washi tape you add in the end to break your page, or the splashes, right? So your metals, your fabric, or your gems, that's at the complete end, and it just finishes your overall image, and it adds the finishing touches, really is what I'm trying to say. So I will leave you on this, and I will let you enjoy the next page, which will be, again, probably in the same monochromatic style, but like I find it's pretty completely different in what I am doing with this page. But if you respect, or if you follow, I should say, those rules that I've mentioned, you will always be successful in creating pages that have a main attraction. Your focal points will always be successful in attracting the eye. Just follow those steps, and every single time I can guarantee your pages will look absolutely amazing. So always keep in mind your base layer, alternating your papers, whether it's with colors, texture, or designs into them. So if it's writing or lines, alternate so that your eye has time to rest between the pieces of paper, and always from the largest to the smallest, of course. Try and remember the 1/3, 2/3 rule, to know where to put your focal point so that your eye goes from, one end to your page to where your focal point is. And then break your flow, add a sentiment, add some washes, and then in the end, just decorate with your gems, your splashes, and such. So I hope this has helped you maybe break down how the magic happens. And I will see if maybe, in the description box, how about I put notes that you can just copy and paste and just print for yourself, or just write down. Really, I'll write down the steps and not the rules. I don't want to say the rules because this is art, so you do whatever you want, but the steps and how to create that magical page that is always successful for you. I will leave you on this. I really hope you're all happy, healthy, and safe. I give you a great big hug from here in Nova Scotia, Canada. And as always, thank you for watching. See you soon. Bye. Bye bye.